Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing well and working on your parts, your memorization, and we'll be getting together again soon to go over those together. But I just wanted to take a little bit of time and talk to you all about the importance of drama and what it can give to us in the realm of education and learning. That it's more than just having a fun time and acting for other people, but there actually are some valuable lessons that we can learn through it, and that will improve us as a person as we grow in life. One of the big obvious things that we learn from drama is the skill of communication. When you're acting something out, you're trying to communicate a message to people, and a lot of times in your play you will have what we call universal themes. So in this play we have themes that people universally can relate to. We have the postman who is busy with the holiday season and has lost sight a little bit of some of the deeper meanings of Christmas and the valuable things that the season brings. That's something that everyone can relate to on some level at some time or another. There are other smaller themes that are hidden in there. We've got Mr. Blue, we've got Mary and Martha, we have the mother, we have the two bakers, other little lessons that can be pulled out by people and things can be learned from. And of course we have underlying all of it is the story of Christ's birth and the change that it brings in our life, and that is the greatest theme of all that we're trying to get across. So number one is that we're improving our communication skills, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Secondly, I would say self-confidence is a big takeaway from working in drama. It can be a little nerve-wracking, and you can get stage fright. You can be nervous about different aspects of acting together, and practicing and learning and working together, it's a great way to overcome some of those natural fears. And at the end of the day, you've increased your self-confidence. You realize you can do more than what you thought you could, and all at the same time you're having a good time. One of the other aspects is collaboration. And in working in drama, you are having to collaborate with other people. You're usually not just talking to yourself. You're talking to another person. You're interacting with them. And there's lots of different ways that happens. So every interaction with every character is a little bit different because of the nature of that character. And so you learn to communicate in different ways and work with other people at the same time. You have to learn to cooperate with other people, because if you come in at a certain time and they don't come in, it just doesn't look natural or doesn't work for the scene or whatever. You learn verbal and nonverbal communication. Back to talking about communication a little bit. We have the verbal, which is the words that you say, but then we also have nonverbal communication. And what would that be an example of? So if someone doesn't know what they're supposed to be doing and they scratch their head, that's letting you know something in a nonverbal way. They're not saying, I'm not sure what to do in this situation, but they're telling you that by their actions. If someone's nervous and maybe they chew their nails, or if someone's impatient and they tap their foot, just different ways that someone can communicate who they are and how they're feeling about the situation without words. So you have to really use your imagination. You have to dive deep into what you're communicating to the people in the audience and think that out and think, okay, this is what my words are saying. How else can I communicate this? If I couldn't say my words, how could I communicate the same thing with my actions? And then you put your words and your actions together, and you have a very powerful, strong communication that's very clear for everyone to understand. Secondly, to those two keys, keeping in mind that you want to have verbal and non-verbal communication, would be articulation and voice projection. These two work together really closely. So if I say my words, I learn them really fast, and I just run through them really fast, you're not going to understand what I have to say. So I have to learn to articulate. And when you articulate, you are giving the syllables all their space and their time. So you might have to slow down a little bit. Sometimes you might still say something a little bit quickly, but your syllables are going to be very distinct. So you can learn how to say happy birthday to you or happy birthday to you. So that way, across the room, the person over there can hear you very clearly. Something else is voice projection. Sometimes we have people that speak softer and people that speak louder naturally. And with drama, you have to realize your audience isn't right here in front of you. Your audience might be 20 feet away from you. So you want to speak in such a way that it projects over to them. You can still do that without hollering, shouting, and you can still communicate in different methods. You can still have someone that maybe is speaking quietly or saying something, but you can pronounce it very distinctly with your mouth so that people looking at you can see what you're saying. They are going to be reading your lips, which that's another tip, and how you're facing the audience, that when you're talking to someone, we have a group of people coming together having a conversation. You never want to have your back totally turned to the audience and talking like that, because then you've taken away one layer of them being able to understand you. When you're talking and you have two people talking, let's pretend these are two people and these are their faces. We never want this person to turn away, because then we can only hear what sound comes, which bounces off that wall and bounces back to the audience. It's much better if this person will stand at this angle right here, and then the audience can see both of them. They may be leaned in toward each other just a little bit, so they're not just completely straight to the audience, but let the audience see your mouth and your face so they can read your lips and they can hear what you're having to say. One other thing to keep in mind is, in the room that we're going to be performing, we have hard ceiling, hard floor, no curtains. So it's a very bouncy space, a lot of room for echoing and noise. So when we speak in an open place like that, like if you're in a big gymnasium for a graduation, you might have noticed this as well, that when people get up to speak, if they speak too fast, the echo in the room causes those sounds to start layering on top of each other, and it just blurs and you can't hear what they're saying. So when you get into the dining hall and we start practicing, listen to yourself and think, if I didn't already know what I was going to say, which is going to be the audience, then would I understand the words that just came out, or do I need to slow down? At the end of a sentence, do I need to give just a half-second pause before I go into the next sentence? Sometimes also, you might be saying your lines and someone might say something funny. Sometimes you might rush on to the next point before you let your audience properly appreciate your funny line or respond to that. So sometimes you want to give people just a second to let what you just said soak into them so they understand it. And then they can respond to that. And then we continue going on. And you can learn to do that seamlessly so that you are in sync with your audience and you're actually communicating. You're not just performing with them, but you're kind of reading your audience, and you can see where those cues are and how to respond to them. Another aspect that is really good about working with drama is that it creates empathy. Empathy is when you put yourself in someone else's shoes. Empathy is a great characteristic to have that will serve you throughout life, but you have to do that when you get into a character. You have to think, what is this character like? What are their actions and their body language like? Why is it like that? Have they had a real hard life? Think about Mr. Blue. He's kind of sad and not real confident, and he's been kind of beat down by life. Why would that be? So you think about that, put yourself in his place, empathize with him, and understand that. Think about Mr. Banker. He's all, you know, confident, and he's going to, he's all about business, not thinking so much about the people. Why would that be? What makes him like that? And how can you project and portray that to your audience to really get into that character and figure out what makes them who they are, and then portray that to others. Something else that drama does is that it develops your emotional intelligence. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before or not, but a lot of people don't really have a good grasp on controlling their emotions that they show to other people. Drama helps you understand in a controlled environment how to express different emotions properly at the right time and in the right way. And that's something that will serve you well going through life. There are situations where it's proper to show certain emotions, and there are situations that it's not. And it's good for us to learn how to control our emotions and how we portray ourselves to other people. So I hope that we'll have a great time in our first rehearsal. Can pull the word to my mind. That's going to be coming up really quick. So I hope you're getting your lines memorized, and I hope you'll start to take some of these skills that I've talked about, start thinking through your character, start practicing your lines out loud. Go look in the mirror and practice your lines. Look at your facial expressions. Listen to what you're saying. Am I articulating, or am I slurring my words together? Do I sound like I'm reading? You can read something and sound like you're reading, and you can actually read in a conversational tone, which is more what you're wanting to pick up. If you just sound like you're reading, you're not going to sound realistic. So you want to try to learn your lines, but then start connecting with that character and with who you're speaking to, and try to start sounding convincing, believable. Finally, one of the last things that I think drama helps us with is it will help you to be a better audience participant later, because you will think of all the different layers that go into communicating with someone else through drama, and you will start to look at the small things. While the main person is speaking, you're going to look and see what the secondary actors are doing, and you'll be fascinated by all the different layers of drama that maybe you overlooked before. So I hope that you each one will enjoy your part that you're playing, and you'll do your best to really fill in that character and make him just as robust and full as can be. Be creative. If you have any extra ideas about your character that you would like to bring into your part, talk to me about that, and we can figure out how to work that into the whole dialogue of the play. I hope you have a good idea of what you want to do for your costume. Start working on that, and if you have any questions on that, give me a message or talk to me about that as well. So we'll be having our table reading tonight. Looking forward to that, and just want you all to know that I'm really excited about this. I hope you are too, and I hope that you can take away a few things from what we've shared today of how this can be more than just something we have to do, but something we can really enjoy and learn from together.